Hey, what's going on, everybody? Yo, so let's just say things have been going well. Today we got a real guest, man. Dara Jemmott is just, she's amazing. She's a comedian. She's a new comedian. She's really been making waves for herself. She's doing her thing. She's chasing her dream. This episode, you're gonna get to know that, and it's really good to see people stepping out and doing what they want to do in life. And it's important to support those people. And this interview was, one, hilarious, and two, just eye-opening and enlightening, man. So I hope you guys enjoy it. It's going to be crazy. My last interview with Clus, man, it really did a lot of numbers, man. I really appreciate everyone's support on that, for real. And the last few interviews have just been amazing, man. Let me just tell you, it's been a lot of good stuff. And I'm happy to announce that things are moving, getting closer to the goal, and things are good, man. Everything's not perfect, but it's moving the right way, and that's what's all you want. So hope you guys check out this interview, man. Thank you for tuning in right now, and I just appreciate everyone, man. Everyone take care and enjoy. Peace. Go. Yo, what's up, everyone? Listen, okay? This is like, what is this, like? Holy crap. This is episode 14. Did I say episode 14? I'm not sure. Hold on. Let me just check through the episodes. Yeah, this is like episode like 14. Listen, so I'm with a very old friend of mine today. Her name is Dara. First of all, shout out to everybody who listened to Cluster's interview. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Today, I got a very old friend of mine. I've known this lady for, let's just put it this way, for over 20 years, I guess, at this point. So it's crazy. She is what you call, like, you want to talk about light up a room, light of the life, just light, period. Yo, if you look at this person's eyes, like, she's here. Okay, I'm excited because whenever I get around her, she's just a ball of energy. She's a great person, and I enjoy her, and I think you guys are going to enjoy her too. She's a great person, and she's also quite funny. Now, today, we have my homegirl, Dara.
Hello. You have me beaming, sorry.
Dara, welcome to the Brian Johnson Show. And so tell the people about yourself. Who are you? Because all they know is what I just described. So who are you? What are you about, huh?
Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
You are very correct. We've known each other for so long.
Yes.
At least 20 years.
Yes.
We were like, 4,
Word. Oh, my God.
So young.
Yes, so young.
Yes, I am a stand-up comedian
Yes.
who currently lives in Brooklyn,
Okay.
but I'm a Jersey girl all day.
Yes.
I need that to never get twisted.
Mm-hmm.
Proudly from Teaneck, New Jersey.
Yes.
Living in Brooklyn now, stand-up comedian, and that has been quite the journey, coming from working in corporate America for 14 years, and then now making a jump to
Stand-up comedian, yeah.
Yeah, comedy is quite a leap.
Yes, it is. It's a different world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different world.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start there.
Okay.
I've known you for a long time, but the audience doesn't know you for forever.
Like
so
2 minutes.
So let's break it down on level of, you go from corporate America, which is the track we call, because that's the track where a lot of people go to once they leave school, once they leave basically high school to college, then they go into corporate America. Mm-hmm. And you decide to go and do your own thing and become a comedian. Mm-hmm. Okay. But it had to have some origin, because you just don't do that overnight. So back in school, when we were back in school, did you ever have a thought about being a comedian? Was that ever a thought in your head at that time? Because look, let me tell you something. You were funny back then. I just ran into my man Sam, who was on my last podcast, who was on a podcast, a couple of podcasts before. Mm-hmm. My man Sam Nygaard, and he was like, you gonna do an interview with Dara? Yo, she cuts up, yo. She's hilarious. He was like, yo, I can see this happening. He just started laughing. And he sat back down because he's about to open up a studio. At the time of this, when you guys hear this, his studio's already open. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's somebody who said it. So was it back then? Because I know you started, so let's break it. Let's give some people some context. You started out in Teaneck.
Yes.
Started out in Teaneck.
Born and raised.
Born and raised in Teaneck.
Well, I was born in Hackensack. But
technically Hackensack.
Yeah.
So bring me up to speed. So we get into high school. because we're gonna take it there because that's when I met you and everything.
Okay.
And you were always funny back then, but you were sarcastic as fuck.
Yes.
And quite the sharp. She was like she was sharp as shit because you couldn't get shit past her. Okay, all the guys were trying to holler at her when she was a freshman. She was like, "Fuck out of here, guy! I know what you're doing. Don't talk to me that way." It was hilarious. She was smart as fuck, and the other guys was just like, "She's not dumb. Why is she not falling for the shit, man? She's not with the shits." But anyway, she's not with the shits. We weren't saying that back then, but you get the idea of what we're saying here. So
that's hilarious.
So even back then, did you ever have an inkling you would go walk into this comedian life? Did you ever have a thought about anything like that back then? Probably not even a little bit.
No, never a little bit.
Okay.
No.
What was the track for you back then? What was the thought process for you back then? What were you thinking about?
What did I think? I really only just wanted to figure out a way to like travel the world.
Okay.
And meet people. That's what I would always say.
So you wanted to be you had that free soul in you from the jump.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always And I've been entertaining people since a young age.
Yes.
So the element of like entertaining was always there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I started dancing when I was 3 years old, doing recitals on actually the Teaneck High School stage, you know, and then Terpsies and you know, performing in all those elements. And the only reason why I say no, I wasn't thinking about being a stand-up comedian is because I would always get in trouble when I was younger for
like Dara, she's a smart ass. Put her over there in that class.
Get in trouble.
Dad had a mouth on her, yo. She's sharp as fuck. You'd be like, oh man, she say that shit to me right now. Should I respond? No, don't respond. Don't respond. I don't want to get detention. Don't respond.
Yeah, it was so bad. So I had this like. I correlated being funny to being like a bad thing, you know? So I never was, at least for me, you know, because the repercussions.
There was going to be repercussions.
So many detentions, you know? And I had to learn how to not get detention, you know?
Word.
So, and then prom night, actually, that's when I was like, oh, I got real mad at a stand-up comedian that night because we went on that like one of those like comedy prom cruise.
Oh, I didn't know that your class did that. Word?
Oh yeah, so we did that after one of the proms. We like went to the city and did that.
Yeah.
And one of the comedians, I don't know if I was heckling him. Probably.
Right.
Maybe. I'm gonna go with probably.
She was heckling a comedian.
I might have been.
Prom? What does that, bro?
It was a stressful prom. But because I don't know would have made him say this to me now that I'm thinking about it. Like if I had just been there silently, I don't know would have, you know.
Okay, I got you.
Anyway, I got really mad at him because he said, "You look like you have breast cancer of the back."
Oh.
And I was like,
what? Yo. Hey, yo. I've never heard somebody say some shit like that.
Oh, it was so mean. It was so mean.
That was quite rough.
I had like 17-year-old boobies. You know what I mean? A sexy sternum was what I was given. You know, I was serving a sexy sternum. And he called me out. I said something like, "When's the last time you saw your dick?" Something like that. I don't even know if I should be saying these words on your show.
No, it's totally fine. This is not one of those stiffy toes. Say whatever you feel.
Okay, they're a part of the anatomy, but yes. So yeah, I was really mad at him. So I kind of had this thing about like comedians being like,
comedians are assholes.
Yeah, but you know, lovable ones. You know, we just make you think. So,
what comedian were you into? Did you listen to any comedians back then? Did you besides Martin, I guess, because Martin was still kind of new at that point.
I mean, Martin, of course, Eddie Murphy and Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle. I absolutely loved Dave Chappelle since him being in Men in Tights.
Wow, so you're taking it back.
Yeah. I mean, yes. I've loved Men in Tights and
Half Baked.
Half Baked. Half Baked is one of my favorite movies.
What? That was Killer Bee. They killed Killer Bee.
Ever.
That's my movie. That's my fucking movie. I used to get so fucking hot in that shit. Oh my God. Anyway, you gotta stay on course today. So basically, you graduate prom. You get. What made you go to Syracuse? Because I know you went away to school, and that must have been like a big change for you because you had family here. And you like, all right, I'm out. I'm going like 5 miles away. Because I was, at the time, context, I was dating somebody that was there. So I knew how the distance was, so that must have been like, whoa, okay, big change here. How was that for you?
Oh, I was looking to get away from
Okay.
school. Yeah.
Escaping.
I mean, kind of, almost. I loved my parents, but it was always the thought of,
Yeah.
my brother went to Morehouse.
Okay.
So, and he's 10 years older.
All right.
So in my brain, I was always going to go to Spelman.
How was that dynamic with siblings with you guys?
It's hard to explain. Like my brother being in the house for 10 years and then leaving. It's weird that we are as close as we are.
I got you.
It was like always a treat growing up when I got to hang out with my brother, like when he was home from college, and then, but he was away in college and like enjoying his life. But now my brother's one of my biggest supporters.
That's
like
good.
He's like, burn the ships, Dara. He's like, no going back. When I told him I was first starting comedy, he sent me a list of every single comedy club in New York City.
Now that's a big brother.
Yeah.
That's a big brother. Because people don't do that for their siblings like that.
Yeah.
They usually feel like, why are you not doing this? You should be doing this. Every sibling, as being an older brother, we kind of have this idea that we want our sisters and brothers to grow up nice and good and do exactly what's going on. Like, you're supposed to stay on the track and don't go off the track and do something else with your life, because that would cause harm to the family legacy. You got to stay within this track. But in some cases, some siblings understand that that's just not them.
Yeah. Well, I was actually inspired by my brother to like get off the track.
Okay.
And him going away so far to school made it not far.
Right,
you know what I mean? He's
right.
in Atlanta, and that wasn't like my parents were dealing with him in Atlanta, so it's okay for me. Like, he opened that door for me, so it wasn't even really a thought.
Gotcha.
And then.
Tell me what it was like for you to get into Syracuse, and you were like, okay, I'm going to go there.
So truth is, I didn't want to go to Syracuse.
I didn't know that.
I didn't. It wasn't my first choice. Spelman was my first choice. Spelman rejected me.
Stop.
And right when I was about to write the appeal letter, and Syracuse coincidentally was the first school that I applied to. I did early admission to Syracuse.
Okay.
Because my parents went to Syracuse and met there, and my mom was like, "You're applying to Syracuse."
Smackdown.
I thought it was corny that my parents met there and didn't want to.
You guys are cornballs.
Yeah, that's corny. You guys met in college.
So cliche, Mom.
I'm not going there. Yeah. No,
probably staring at you like, what did we do?
What did we do?
Did we drop her?
Who do we raise?
It's not. I don't understand.
And it was absolutely nothing against Syracuse. It was
Right.
literally just the fact that my parents met there. Like, I was like, that's corny. But it was the first school that I was admitted to.
Okay,
And so
okay.
I was admitted in January.
All right.
So I kind of slacked even for the rest of the time. I was like, no matter what, I'm in Syracuse. So when I got the rejection letter from Spelman, I was about to appeal. I was like, what? I'm calling everybody. I'm getting everybody to write a letter. Everybody I know that even knows how to spell Spelman is getting a letter. Like, we are writing letters together. And then I went to go visit Syracuse, and they had this multicultural weekend, and that solidified it for me. I was like, "Oh, there's no going back. I'm going to." I came back wearing the Syracuse shirt. I was like, "Syracuse forever! I bleed orange and blue."
People stare at the corner like, what's wrong with that girl?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you still go to scenic high school, but I'm going to Syracuse. No one will stop me.
The people who didn't get in college are looking at you like, this bitch. Damn, I don't like her ass. Now I got more reason not to like her ass. Like, talking about school. Everybody going to Berkeley Community College and staring at your ass like, fuck is her problem? Oh, I don't like this, bro.
I never thought about that.
Fuck is her problem today?
I was just really excited about going to Syracuse, and I had a shirt, and I wanted to wear it. Who cares that it was like April?
Little pre-celebration.
It's pre-tax day, and I'm still like, hey, here we are.
Yo, so you get up and go to Syracuse.
Yes.
Now, I know my boy, Kenny went up there. KG, my man, Kenny Golden. Shout out to him.
Yes.
You guys go up there. I was dating somebody that was up there at the time. So Syracuse was pretty and my homegirl Venedra was up there.
Yes.
That's a lot of people I know.
Burn. Yes.
So you guys, well, basically 2001, 2000, you're up there, right? 2001, 2002. So they're all up there at that point, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Ken got there in 2001.
Yeah. So it's like all of you guys are all in the same spot. And how was the black culture there? Because, I mean, yeah, the football team, I know the basketball team was large and in charge at that time. Was Carmelo Anthony there at that point?
He got there my junior year.
Junior year.
Yeah.
How was it like? How was it? Because I remember talking to Vernon. I did her podcast, and she was here on my podcast, and she told me about how it was like the culture it was like a strong black culture there.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was there, I would see that. They had international houses. I didn't even know what that was. I was in college, and I didn't have no international houses. My college was like a square block of Syracuse, to be honest with you. So, so how was it for you, that transition from Teaneck High School there to another? Because you're already in a melting pot where we grew up, but even you're in a much bigger melting pot there. How was it there for you?
I think that's one of the best things about Syracuse University is the fact that it felt like, and this is how I always describe it, it felt like a small black college in a big white university.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah.
And it was like, you couldn't tell me I went to a white college on the weekend. You know what I mean? Like, woohoo. We out here.
Yes. Yes, Lord. They
was partying in South. You know what I mean?
Yo, I peeped that when I got up there. I was like, this is crazy, man.
Yeah. And then you'd go to class and meet people who had never met black people, you know?
Shit.
And, you know, one of the first weeks I was there, and this is actually in one of my bits, I got on the elevator and this dude looks at me. He's like, what's the hood like? Yeah, your face.
Oh, my God. I'm sorry, y'all. I just had a moment. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that question point blank like that.
Yo, I'm in an elevator with this dude. Like, are you kidding me?
Teaneck is the furthest place in the hood, but either way, no, I'm
so
sorry.
You know how obnoxious I can be.
At this point, this dude is like, he didn't realize who he stepped in the elevator with. At this point.
So I just looked at him and I was like, I don't know. Ask my gardener. And then we had an awkward flight, awkward rest of the way up the elevator. 14 floors were long.
Yo, that had to be a golden moment right there. That had been like a wake-up call, like, yo, I am not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah, and I think that was the hardest part.
Yeah.
You know, in Teaneck, coming from such a diverse town.
Right.
And it's still like a small town in this metropolitan kind of area. You're not... we weren't subjected to that.
Yeah.
You know, not to say that there wasn't racism or any of that. People are people, but we didn't encounter people like that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't so ignorant and so blatant. So it took an adjustment to kind of like open the doors to see those people. But socially, yeah, we got it in Syracuse. And it was really nice to see that the black people were such a unit up there, and even could have everyone could have their own group within the group of being black. You know, there were always subsets of black people. But what I'm so excited about is the fact that like when my parents were up there were maybe 17 of them or 20 people of them. You know what I mean? 20 people of them.
20 people, period.
20 black people. You know what I mean?
Black people.
20 black people, you know? And they had to come together. My mom helped write the curriculum for the African American curriculum up there to even get it established. So there's, you know, it took work for that to happen. So it was nice to just see that.
I can't believe
that community.
Like how connected you were to that, and then going up there, and you're kind of a legacy at that point.
Well, yeah,
a little bit of a legacy. Did you already kind of know some of the faculty because of your parents, or did you just had to like really ingratiate yourself a different kind of way there?
As I graduated, or as I guess I got like towards senior year, I realized that the connections that some of the people administrators had with my parents. Okay. But not necessarily going in. Like I didn't know that my father was part of the Persistent 16 that started Mega Sci-Fi up there until I got there. You know, I was sitting on the couch and some guy comes downstairs. He's like, "Do you know who your father is?" And I was like, "No."
Father's just some guy who yells at me.
Like essentially Tremont. What else? Had no clue, and that was a game changer. You know what I mean?
That's a bit of a game changer. I mean, it's a little historically some type of credence. Your dad had some very historical facts going on in his life. Like that's big.
Yeah, but it wasn't something that my dad ever was like. You know, well, this is. I mean, I think he probably told me, but it didn't hit me as to how big that was until I got up there.
Got you.
And until most of the Qs weren't allowed to like talk to me.
That must have been really
I'd be
weird.
dancing at a party. They're like, do you know who her father is? And then tell them, and then they'd back away. I'm like, oh, there goes my dating life.
They'd be like, yo, she's hot. Don't talk to her, bro.
Don't talk to her.
You know who her dad is, bro? Oh, all right, cool. Let's go over here and talk to these broads, bro.
That's exactly how that went. That's exactly how that went.
Now, you're in a big party school, because it is part of a party school. I've noticed that Syracuse was always like a big school for like because of football was huge. Sports is huge there. Was it like how was that integration going to a school where they're known for having a big cultural thing with like party culture, lifestyle? We're out here, people are living in uniforms. Like you were living like basically the referendum of most people's ideas of big schools. How was that for you?
I don't know. I loved it.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like you loved it.
I'm always down for a good time.
Okay.
And like I lived right across the street from the Carrier Dome.
Yeah.
So I would run across the street.
Yo, that's where everything was going down. Was right there. Because where I was staying when I went out, I was in the skirts, and then I came over here, and I was like, this is crazy. I went to some big building. I think it's the African American building. I don't know. It's some big building.
There are a lot of big old buildings over there.
Yeah, I was like, this is all shocking to me. Me coming from literally, my school must have been more than maybe I don't know, less than maybe 2 miles long, and I was just like, then I go to this, and I'm just up there like straight culture shock. Me and my boy who I brought with me at the time, and we're just staring around. And we're just like, this is what college is about. We gotta leave the school that we're at, damn it, bro. We're staring at each other.
Yeah, when you have to like get on buses to go other places in the campus, it's a bit.
Yeah.
It's a large school.
This is a school. So,
but yeah, I mean, living across the street from the Carrier Dome, being able to run to a place that's being televised.
Yeah.
Was a lot of being across the street from that amount of energy was exciting. And just there's always something to do.
That's cool. That's a good thing to have in college. Good and bad, depending on what you're doing. Now, I have a question. What did you major in while you were in school?
Retail consumer studies with a marketing minor.
Wow. That's a first. I don't think we've ever had anybody do that before.
Yeah.
How was that studying? Were you with the class? Were you like the only black person in there?
Sometimes. But my roommate, Naren, we had similar majors. She had a retail marketing major or retail. There was some distinction. Yeah, she had retail marketing. I had retail consumer studies. Okay. So we were in some classes together.
Okay.
And then there was another girl, Shamika, who's actually a motivational speaker now. I remember she would be another one who was in the class. But there were a lot of white girls from Long Island. not gonna lie there.
None of them asked to touch your hair, right?
I do not remember that. I do not recall feeling that feeling. They might have. We were dealing with bigger issues. I had to get over the fact that some of them would blatantly say that they were only here to get their MRS.
Oh wow!
And for those that don't know what that is, it's their misses. They're only in college to get married, and it was just like, what?
That's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
I said yeah because I thought it was like some type of program or something. But
No. MRS, yeah.
Holy shit.
To get their misses. One girl actually raised her hand and said that when the professor was like, what made you?
You trying to snap on a doctor or a ball player?
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's some predator shit, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a girl with a plan, I guess.
Come on. Hell of a plan.
Like a master plan. And that's to say that that's all of them. Not to say that. But that was kind of like that spectrum of getting used to.
God.
Where it's like everyone I knew was just like, no, I fought to get here. You know what I mean? Like, really want to be here. Yeah. Very happy to be here.
Like, this made my life right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I got into the number one school I wanted to go to.
Exactly.
Oh, my God.
I'm very happy to be here and get this fine education.
Yes.
Like, I'm very happy to be here to get a husband. I was like, what?
Shit.
What?
What kind of life were we living that we forgot about that? Like, shit.
It's crazy. But
shit was a Syracuse. Fuck.
It's a different experience. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed retail consumer studies. I actually still feel like I'm a little bit of a nerd for it. I kind of enjoy.
Is that kind of like behavioral? You're looking at people's behavioral stuff?
Yeah, like behavioral patterns. looking at the ergonomics of a retail store.
Got you.
Does it feel right? Does it smell right? Is the right music on? And then just why people buy what they buy when they buy it is how I like to explain it.
So you left school at this point. Had you interned before you left school to go?
Oh yeah, I did a bunch of internships.
You were on the intern wave. A lot of people don't do that.
Oh yeah,
they don't catch on. They just like, I got my degree, now let me go start applying for jobs. If you didn't intern and push, you're not getting in your field, buddy. That's the reason why your degree is just getting you in the door with something you never thought you were going to be do. If you don't intern somewhere, I didn't know that. I should have known that, but you don't. That knowledge is not always passed down right away.
Yeah,
interning is a big deal. So when did you start interning? Did you start interning like your sophomore year?
When did I start? Well, I started working when I was 16.
Okay.
I started working at Coach in Riverside Square Mall was my first job.
Don't feel bad.
That was amazing.
Okay.
I did say I wasn't going to mention anybody, but that was so long ago.
Yeah.
Send me a bag.
Yeah, I don't think anyone cares.
That was so long ago.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You were 16.
Yeah, exactly. I was 16 years old. That was forever ago.
Yeah.
And they would like kick me out at 10 o'clock to avoid child labor laws because I was so not an adult. So
she started out living illegally from the jump.
Yeah. No, it was legal. I just had to be out by 9:59. Get her out. Okay. It is illegal for her to be in this store. So my manager took a chance on me, real young.
Yeah.
But my first internship, I'm trying to remember what's my first internship. So I had this internship where I got to go to LA. Okay. And I interned for this woman, Janice Bryant Howard, who's amazing. She owns Act One. She's just this is an incredible woman. And I shadowed her. I shadowed her in her. She has a hiring company, like a staffing company.
Right.
So I worked at that company.
Okay.
A few hours a day, and then I would go and shadow a buyer, or I would shadow, or go with her to a meeting. I got to intern and shadow Jennifer Lewis for a day. So this was really when she was working on the set of Strong Medicine.
Did you get a real sense of Black woman empowerment at that point?
Oh, absolutely, because she was providing these opportunities for me. I had an internship at Universal Studios where I did the premiere for Blue Crush. So she created this whole I want to say this multiple pathway for me to have this time to explore so many different things to see what it is that I wanted to do. Why
did you never, and I only ask this now because you brought up the fact you were out there and you were interning in these places. Why did you were exposed to, you were exposed very early to, let's just say, to the publicist life, the management life. You saw these things. Why did you never graduate towards? Because you had the personality for it. I never understood why you never graduated towards that kind of field or anything like that.
Towards managing people,
managing or being a publicist or stuff like that.
It's funny. I wanted to do PR.
Okay, yeah. But I was just saying because
it's a funny story behind that. Oh, that was actually another internship for a PR company in London. Okay, 2 of them.
How was London for you?
Oh, that was amazing. At a young age? I did not want to come back. I went my junior year when Syracuse won the championship with Carmelo. I was in London.
How was that?
It was cool, but we had to stay up till 5 o'clock in the morning to watch it.
That's a memory you're never gonna let go.
Oh, I'm never gonna forget. And then we were running down Piccadilly, and this guy jumps into the fountain with the the horses. And cracks his skull open, and it was just these renegade Americans. Jesus, this is why they make movies about us.
Yes.
Euro trip.
Yes. Word is.
But I will never forget that. Yeah, it was a good time. So London was good. So yeah, internships definitely helped. Management and publicity. I did not end up going into.
Right.
I
think you would have. But that means just saying as someone who's known you for a long time, I think you would have been wonderful at it. That's not just playing your comment because you did my podcast. I'm just saying the fact that you always had that. You know what I'm saying? Because you're quick-witted, and that would have. That is always something that you have to be in that kind of business and you have a bit of a you let things roll off your back a little bit. You don't hold. As far as I've known you, I don't know on another level. You could be straight up grudge holder.
Full of shit right here. I'm still angry about.
Yeah, snap, son. She's out of control, bro. We out. like pull the cord. But no, I don't.
No, I gotta watch my blood pressure. I can't.
Yeah, I
hold
don't
on
think
to
I don't
stuff.
think I don't call you. I usually pretty good at calling people on what they are, and you pretty don't do that. That's why I was like, always wondered like that, because as you go forward, we'll talk about those kind of things and that. But so you do the internships, but how did you land your first gig out of school? Because that must have been like a good move for you. You must have been like, damn, all right.
Okay, great story about this. Are you ready?
I'm ready for this. How we going with this?
Okay. So I'm at Miller's house, right?
Miller's.
Yes.
Okay.
And Talia Young, shout out to Talia Young
Okay.
and her wonderful mother. She was working at my first job.
Okay.
And she was like, how's it going? She knew I was about to graduate.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, pass me your resume. And I sent it to her. I just did an informal interview, like an informational interview.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
A few months later, and thought nothing of it, and was
Right.
just very like happy to have the opportunity
Yeah.
to like, put on a suit and do the interviews, so I could have practice at that. 'cause
Welcome to the Matrix.
That's important.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
know. And then a few months later, they called me, and I was like, what?
You can see her face right now. She looks like she probably literally the exact thing when they call her. She was like, you actually want to give me a job?
I thought that was just like, I thought you guys were just doing that because
Yeah.
she was your boss.
This is a favor for a favor.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, but you guys, you like me? You
You really like me?
you really want me? Yeah. So they liked me,
There you
and they
go.
thought of me for something else
Yeah.
later. So, which is why you always just got to show up. You know what I mean? You always got to show up so people know who you are. So your name is in the hat.
Yeah, they give you the love. They got to take the love. You
Exactly.
get
If there's a path, they get your name in a hat. Get
Yeah.
your name in the hat, and then at least someone can like choose you because your name is there.
it. Got you.
So yeah, they called me, but I was really hell bent on doing PR and marketing, right? So when they called me, they're like, "We have this wonderful opportunity in production," and I was like,
It so begins the fork in the road. That fork in the road is there. But as you become an adult,
"God,
that other road begins to narrow.
like
And the other road looks bigger and bigger.
I had just woken up and I wasn't thinking about the roads,
Yes.
and I said, "Oh, that's great. I really want a job in PR and marketing."
Wow. Oh my God.
And so then
Hey, yo.
so then
Yo.
So she's like, well, we're looking for someone who really wants a job in production and sourcing. So it was nice talking to you. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let me know if it's make it worse.
And at this time, this is the confidence that she has. Because to do that is ballsy. Number one.
It's stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid. I didn't say that. It wasn't stupid. It's brave. You can be brave and stupid at the same time.
Stupid at the same
It
time.
all clicks around. But if you're going to go do it, why not go balls to the wall and just do it?
Ooh, yeah. So that didn't sit well when I hung up the phone.
Well,
And
yeah.
my gentleman friend, I told him what I did. And as I was freaking out, I was like graduating in 2 weeks. I knew I didn't want to move back home.
He's probably staring at you like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
he was like kind of in and out.
Oh,
Because we
well.
just woke. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a lot of information.
Yeah,
But,
I was about to say,
we
Yeah.
had just woken up.
you just woke up, you're living your life. Go
living
ahead.
my best life.
That's
okay?
right, damn it.
And
Oh, man.
he's like, as I'm freaking out, he just looks at me. He's like, call her back. And I was like, you're crazy. And he's like, call her back. And he's like, tell her that you just woke up and that you weren't really thinking straight. And I was like, what?
We were going to tell them that we went on a 2-day bender.
Yeah.
Coming the fuck down. Okay? You were coming down for a 2-day bender. And you just had to tell him that, B. Like, this is what it is. Like, I don't go, fuck it. He's probably like, oh, I'm about to go roll over, though. I got this. I don't got time for this shit. I'm too young. I'm like 20.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Tell her I banged it until 6 a.m. and you weren't thinking straight. It's as simple as that.
It's basically.
It rolls over.
The fuck you want me to do about this, man?
Oh, my God.
Are we going to the fucking... I got to get breakfast. bro.
Breakfast, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Settle that so we can eat.
FYI to all ladies, if you want to keep a man happy in the morning, just feed him. I don't give a fuck. He'll say yes to everything if he's fed. Trust and believe.
Oh, that's
It's fucking sad.
put more food in my fridge.
Taste is true.
Okay, so I really wanted to think that was a stupid idea to call, but I was like, what do I have to lose?
Oh, the one time in the entire life that a man has been right. But go ahead.
He was absolutely right. He was absolutely right. So I called back.
Yeah.
And I said, I am so sorry.
Yes.
You called me with an opportunity. And it sounds any opportunity for me right now would be a good one. I'm looking to learn as much as I can. I'm looking to grow at a really great company, and you have given me that opportunity, and I would like to say yes if there is still that opportunity on the table.
Well, you sold that one. That was good.
Thank you. This is why you said I should be on PR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sold that shit.
Thank you. So she starts laughing
Right.
and says, do you want to come in for an interview? And I was like, I do.
I'll be on the first thing smoking.
I do want to come in for an interview. So there is a way to course correct things, people.
Yes.
Just, you got to dig deep sometimes. And then I went in for my, I guess, second or third interview the day after I graduated from Syracuse and started working 2 weeks after I graduated.
How was that life for you? Now, I remember you. Now, this job was in the city? Was this in New York City?
Yeah.
Now, I asked a friend of mine and a fellow guy that I had on the podcast. He's a fellow photographer. And I asked him about his commute life. And he said he barely was like in that life, that after work life. We call it the 5 to 7 life. Or 5 to 7 or 5 to 8, whichever. I don't know what the happy hour life is after work.
Yeah.
But that's its own thing and exists in New York.
Yeah.
And for young people, because this job was in your 20s, obviously.
Yeah.
So how was that life, switching into that life? Like, now you're in a commuter life. You're over in New York, and you're coming out of work, and you're like, your homegirl who you probably sat next to was just like, hey, yo, they're having drinks for half price, blah, 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 down here on 23rd. Do you want to go?
I was about that life. I'm still about that life.
How was that life?
Come to my comedy show at Urban Vegan Kitchen on 41 Carmine Street, Mondays at 5. I'm still about that life.
How was that life? Because I call the 20s the roaring 20s. The roaring 20s is you're still a baby. You're still learning. How was that transition for you coming from college now and being ingratiated into this adult life now? How was that for you? How was that transition for you?
So this was the best part about it. I started working 2 weeks after I graduated, and then I was able to move in with my same college roommate to Brooklyn.
Okay.
And then I lived around the corner from my best friend and the closest people that I had, like some of the closest people that I have in my life that I had known for like 18 years from Martha's Vineyard down the block from me.
Okay.
So it kind of became this like college 2.0. Because then our other girlfriends moved.
You guys are basically living every like movie that came out around that time.
We were living, check it out, sing.
Yeah, basically.
It wasn't the 90s, but yeah.
Well, it was circa what, 2005?
Yeah,
around that time.
2005, 2004.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we basically just continued like. And there's such a great unit of people at Syracuse who were already from New York.
Yeah, alumni
who
included.
Moved back home.
Yeah.
So it was like, you just kept it going. Then I started a party. Then I realized as I wasn't seeing people and it was harder to like get everyone together.
Right.
I started throwing these parties called Relax Your Mind Mondays.
Yo, I remember this.
Yeah. So that was to get people together because it was like I was missing my friends and people were like, I'm busy. And I'm like, all right, well, I will be at this bar every Monday. Come meet me if you want to.
How did you land that?
Oh,
People skills. People skills.
Just talk to people. I used to, well, I still do. I like to like traipse New York City and just walk and meander. And I saw these fourth mojito free deal at this place called Cooper 35.
Okay.
So you drink 3 and the 4th one is free.
Yeah.
So I saw this sign one day. And then I had one of my friends, Andy, was coming in. Shout out to Andy Kane. He was coming into town. He was like, want to get some drinks? He's like, I don't know where to go, though. And I was like, well, I saw this crazy sign. Are you down? He's like, yeah. And we went, and I think I had to give him my 4th mojito. I think I don't think that I was able to do
Well,
the
most people,
four at that point.
the third, if you get the 3 drinks on that kind of level and they're already hard body, you're slowly grueling. There's a place in Hoboken called East LA that I've gone to.
Yeah.
And they have a rule: you're not supposed to go past three margaritas. Someone tried it in my crew and it didn't end well.
And it's
Didn't end well.
It's not advisable. And
Yeah.
these were served in pint glasses with
Yeah.
spring break straws.
Mhm.
So it was a thing, you know, and a great time. So so I happened to go back in there.
Mm-hmm.
And they also had a great food menu.
Yeah.
And Isai, I call her my Japanese grandmother. I love her so much. I was sitting at the bar. She was talking to our staff at the bar.
Right,
and she
right.
was telling the bartender how she needed a bouncer.
Right.
Now, my ex-boyfriend, Khalid,
Mhm.
he's 6'4", and I think had been like had mentioned he wanted to do something like part-time.
Okay.
So I was like, what? And he used to bounce on Martha's Vineyard. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So I'm like, what?
This works.
So so eavesdropping helps. So I went to her and I was like, I overheard you say you need a bouncer. And she was like, yeah.
When Dara moves, just be aware. It is not unintentional. She's slightly pathological. She don't. What did you say?
I'm
Okay.
just good at planning. I'm good at seeing things,
Yeah,
and
right.
executing.
You get the
them.
vision, right?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
What the worst she could have said was no, right?
Right.
And if he
right.
didn't want to do it, he never don't talk to her. But I knew that he already liked the bar.
I got
because
you.
we had been there, right?
Right.
So it was. He started working there, and then I initially wanted to do like a speaking event at Negril, which I ended up working there part-time too.
Okay.
As a hostess. I might have even been working there at the time. I think I was working there at the time at the same time. And I was gonna do like this panel discussion Mondays or something where people
I could not see that happening without you
neither
cutting
could the
up.
owner. Yeah.
You would be cutting up like 3 or 4 times throughout the whole thing, and it'd be wrapped up like, this is over.
Yeah.
This is over. She can't keep straight.
I was like, I don't see how this is gonna work. Not for like a Monday thing, just like people airing out their grievances every Monday.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Become a complaint box. That's the worst.
Exactly. Yeah.
No. Especially in New York, complaint boxes can fill fast.
Yeah.
Super fast, because everybody's got an opinion up in here, boy. Like, it's real.
Exactly. And it's kind of hard to regulate like the energy in the room with some things like that.
Yeah.
And you want people to be open and free with what they want to say, but you don't, man, emotional management. Couldn't handle it. So initially I was like, okay, well, let's just do a drinking event.
Yeah.
And I started the first one at Negril. But then the drinks at Cooper were just like dirt cheap. They're like $4, $5.
Right.
So I was like, well, I might as well have a place where people don't have to spend a lot of money.
Right.
I ended up doing other events at Negril and I ended up working there still.
Did you meet a lot of people that you still connected with now who are were in that event scene, or not really?
Who came to that particular party?
Yeah.
I think the best thing about those Cooper days are that other people have made friendships and that are still friends.
That's crazy.
I'll look at it, I'll see them in a picture of Facebook together. I'm like, how do they know each other? Oh, yes, they used to come.
I am the connection.
Okay. And it just felt like this this freedom that people had on a Monday to just kind of just do whatever and really relax their mind. And then I started another one with Eliza, and that was Fuck You Monday.
Yes, I remember this.
Strand. Yeah,
I remember this.
That's after I broke up with Cooper.
Okay.
But then they tore that place down.
Poor place.
I know.
R.I.P.
I cried.
Oh.
But yeah, so then we did Fuck You Monday with Eliza at the top of the Strand, and that was a sexy moment. I was like, you came to that.
Yeah, I came to that.
Yeah.
I was there. I saw everything. I was chilling yep.
It's Rooftop and Cabana.
It was nice to be in an environment where you have familiar faces, but it was just nice to be in an environment where you could just chill.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't get that. They go to, you're in a place, you're foreign to you, you can't really chill. All the dudes are hawking all the girls are running to the other side of the bar because they don't want to be hawked all day.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of those kind of motions. Everybody was just smoothly moving around and doing their thing. Now, so you get a taste of that life.
Mm-hmm.
There, a taste. And you're in the corporate world. You're balancing out and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how did that kind of years go by for you personally? And I know you had lost some family during the time and you're going through that. How did all that go for you, like on a personal level? Were you finding yourself like in a place where you were not able to pursue it further like you wanted to, or you just wanted to stick with what you were safe with the corporate world, and losing a family member? And how did that affect you doing what you're doing now? How did that all come about for you? How was that time for you?
I think it's interesting because my mom was my manager when I was young, right?
Right.
And my mom is who I lost when I was, at my last corporate gig.
Right.
And they were really great and understanding of, losing her. And so I was happy to be at that place at that time.
Yes.
However, I do think that it was an eye-opener of, my mom would always just encourage me to do. I mean, if I told her I wanted to like fly off a building, she would be like, "I'm sure you could do it." Like, but with a plan. She wasn't blind.
Your mom gave you confidence.
Yeah,
she gave you confidence and a space to be you.
Absolutely.
And I think that's important for any parent.
Absolutely.
You have to let your kid be themselves. They're not going to be what you. I think a lot of parents get caught up in the idea, and they need to let their kid you need to stop with the idea and just let them be who they are. My grandmother, she supports me, but she, more so than even my grandfather, she's always let me be who I am. Yeah. If I'm a screw up, I'm going to be a screw up, but you're going to be the best screw up in the world. You have to be
A-class screw up.
A screw up. You can't just be to be. You got to be the best that you can be. You have to reach your full potential no matter what. Yeah. And I think your mom, I think your dad, I think all ingratiated that in you. I can see that with myself because I understand that. I understand the smackdown. Like, what? So you wanna write a book? Well, write the damn book then. Yeah. But just write it. Shut up. That's pretty much what I got. So so your mother was there. She was big presence in your life, and now she's out of your life at that point.
Yeah.
Did you feel the veil of protection there kind of like lifted off of you and you kind of like were exposed to a lot at that point, or how did that go for you at that point?
Yeah, I think that that's the part that was probably the hardest is that, you had this amazing buoy there, where it's like, you're great, you're wonderful, you can do it. Like, you got this. And then you lose that buoy. It's kind of like, the first time jumping into the water without the floaties on. You know? It's like, what the fuck is this?
Like, I didn't expect this.
And you got then you have to draw on all those things that they instilled in you, right? Yes. But I didn't know to what direction or what degree. And my mom saw things in me at an early age that I still am discovering about myself. You know, like old headshot day, where I was like, old headshot. I was like, I don't have old headshots. And then I was like, oh wait, first of all, I have a bunch of old headshots. But then I thought about how old my first headshots are, and that's because my mom was like, you're gonna do commercials, because she would see this child like, oh my baby, like running around the house.
She's about to become a momager. She's about to become a momager.
Yeah, and she was pretty good at it. So I just didn't know. And my mom and I we started an LLC before she passed. We were going to have a design company where she was doing these really incredible layouts. Right. And there were several things that we wanted to do with that. As far as home decor and plates and stuff, things are still on the table to be done.
You were embracing your creative side.
Yeah, and my mom was the one who was prying it open. Right. Whether she consciously was doing it or unconsciously doing it, I think that she was motivating me to create something outside of corporate America.
I think she saw how corporate America can drown your light.
I think so too. Now that I think about it, I think that's what she was like. No, make sure that you
She didn't want to see that for her daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. My grandfather, he wanted me to go work in the Ford factory and everything. He wanted me to do that, but he saw that I wasn't going to do that, and he would be like, "Nah, just go do you."
Yeah. Yeah. My grand uncle told me I was wasting my life.
Okay, so I'm gonna let y'all know something. For those of you who don't know black families, I'll tell you like this: the uncles are the ones with no filters. The aunts too. Oh yeah. But they will tell you, "Hey, you screw up. Go over there. You're wasting your life. Do something else." Yeah. And then the parents will just looking like, "You can't say that to the kid." Yeah. Yeah, I can. He'll get over it.
Yeah. And it was like, corporate America would be a nice end game for most people. And he was telling me, you are wasting your life being there. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, because people get, I think, I gotta put this. People want to have the nice place in the city for years, then retire, move out to the nice picket fence place wherever else. Especially if you worked in New York and you lived in Jersey, that was the move. You know what I mean? You go get yourself a little condo for years, and then when you get married, you and that person go buy a house, and then you stay there for decades and raise children.
Yeah.
And understandably, that is a solid way to live because most of us grew up with that.
Yeah.
But as time moved forward, you start to realize, like, even your peoples back then, some of them shouldn't have been there and were probably regretting it. And you see why a lot of homes, and I hate to say this, but a lot of homes, a lot of places, you see a lot of depressed people in them. And they have it. It looks perfect to me and you, but they are down and depressed. And it's because their light gets drawn out.
Yeah.
They're piled in by mortgages, bills, kids, everything. And then it just slowly dims out.
Yeah.
And it's scary because some people, like my man said in a previous podcast, he stated, he was like, some people, their dream is what you just said. That's their dream. They don't give a fuck about our dreams of being entrepreneurs, our dreams of being worldwide photographers.
Yeah.
They don't give no fucks. Only thing they care about is having a stable home and a house. And he said, you got to accept that and say, you know what? Not everybody is going to have the big dream.
Yeah.
But I do realize some people have that big dream and have to extend and have to like take it away.
Yeah.
And did you ever feel like that was coming? Did you start to look down that tunnel and things started to get weird?
I remember looking at one of my my coworkers and saying, "Beach cover-ups can't be my legacy."
Wow.
And it was we were having these coworkers die, man. Like dying, real deaths.
That's crazy.
And I was like, no, I can't. God forbid something happen.
Right.
It can't be she made cover-ups. The fuck?
So you felt like a piece of you, not just you. So wait. When you mean dying, you saw dying physically or
Dead.
Oh, I thought you meant like they're dying at their desk.
I mean,
like,
that too.
oh.
But dead.
Shit.
Died.
Suicides?
No. One, she slipped and fell, but we don't know if it was slip and fall or if something happened to her brain and then she, fell after because she was like found in the street. It happened at Grammy night 2 years ago. And another one I lost after I left, but she had been dealing with her sickness when I was there. And it's like these are young girls. One was 26, one was in her 30s. And I'm not making any correlation between the job and that. I'm just saying that life is short.
Yes, it is. Very
and
short.
that your time spent should be spent doing things that you love.
Yes.
And I didn't love making beach cover-ups.
Yeah.
So it started making me ask myself real questions where it's like...
You had a man in the mirror moment?
Several.
Ooh.
You know, where it's like...
I don't even know if I can survive the two I've had so far.
Oh, my God.
Those just are like, it's a shakedown. When you go look at yourself and you're staring in the mirror, like, do you even like what you're looking back at?
Yeah.
And then you have to make that decision. You got to make that call.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
But it's interesting because things just started to like kind of not automatically happen because there are definitely actions that I took to like put those in place. But the universe just started conspiring once I took took a step.
Once you have to take a step.
Yeah.
What brought on the first couple of steps?
Okay, so I ended up doing this program at Landmark.
Okay.
And I did the second part advanced course. And I knew that I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Were you thinking about going into acting? A lot of comedians, they start out acting, then they get into comedy.
Well, I had already been acting.
Oh, okay.
I was a child actress.
Correct.
Yeah.
I didn't even go back that far. I wanted to touch base with what was going on now. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no, I I did do like a TV hosting class. I did a voiceover class. I got voiceover training by Kyle Perry. And
you had a good voice. That's correct.
Thank you.
Yeah,
someone told me my voice was satisfying. I was like, thanks.
I try to avoid the weird shit.
Thank you.
Here we go again. Okay. So, getting back on track.
A bunch of people told me that. Not in a sexy way. I just made it sexual. Satisfying. Yeah. So, what was I talking about?
We were talking about how you had already pursued acting and you had taken some voiceover classes.
Right.
And now you're like, yo.
So I'd taken voiceover training, I'd taken TV hosting, I'd taken commercial voiceover classes. So I was dibbling and dabbling trying to figure something out, but like didn't know how to necessarily get into an audition or do it. And I even did I did a few voiceover for like reading auditions as an adult.
Okay.
But still just had no clue what I was like really going to do. So anyway, I'm on this date, right? And I highlight Landmark because I was in this chorus. Otherwise, I would have just been talking about this to someone at a bar about this story for the rest of my life as like a silly anecdote. But this was like a pinnacle moment where I'm on this date and this guy took me. It started off as a really great date. It was Malcolm X's birthday. It was May 19th, and we're at the Shabazz Center in Harlem.
Nice.
And sitting next to his grandmother, not Malcolm X's grandmother, my date's grandmother, and Malcolm X's daughters are like a few seats down from her. First date, right? So
whoa, wait a minute.
I know, it's weird. I know. This is get into my life. It's weird. So
Did you notice previously you just agreed to the date? Like, yeah.
I just agreed to the date. He was like, meet me here. I didn't know that I was going to meet his grandmother and Malcolm X's daughter.
So you got sandbagged, Holmes.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Yeah, but I'm great with family.
Okay.
It's dangerous to introduce me to your family. They're going to ask about me forever. No, I'm just kidding.
The other girl's going to be like, who is this girl, Dara, they keep talking about?
Exactly.
I feel very awkward.
Exactly. Luckily, I only met his grandmother. I'm sure she asked about me. That she was sweet. She was a wonderful woman.
Whoever that guy is, if you ever hear this podcast, going to be staring, I knew she was crazy.
Yeah. He should have known that. Anyone who's listening to this podcast, 5 minutes in, they were like, oh, yeah, nutbag over there. But because I'm standing next to his grandmother, I am on my best behavior, right?
Okay.
Like, I'm his grandmother. I can't...
Can't turn up, as the kids say.
Turn up.
No, turn up.
Not the first time with Granny. If she offers a drink, then Granny likes to party.
Yeah.
And then it's open season.
Especially if it's dark.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If no one can see Granny and she's just like, putting a little more sherry in her cup, you know this time. You know
that nip out that pocketbook.
Okay, that Kowalski. I can drink with the Granny. But we weren't there.
Okay.
Because this was the first date.
Okay.
So
all smiles and dainty.
All smiles. Yes. So then we leave. We go to his old job. Yeah.
This gets weird. We're going down a weird rabbit hole.
He did have a cool old job. I'm trying to not shout out where he worked, but still, I'm not gonna be turning up in front of your old coworkers. You know what I mean? Like, know your lane.
Yes.
I know my lanes. Okay. So
you go with fabulous with grandma.
What?
Be fabulous with grandma.
Exactly. Just be so precious with grandma that she can't stop asking about you, and have the coworkers be like, where's that nice girl? I loved her skirt.
She was nice to me.
She was nice to me. Exactly. So this is when it gets good. Mm-hmm. So he's like, I have a surprise for you. And I was like, what?
Oh, boy.
And he's like, we're going to get something to eat. And I was like, what? So
you're in Harlem.
No, we're now downtown.
No, downtown. Okay,
yeah, we're in the village now.
Okay, so yeah, there's plenty of places to eat. So
yeah. But based on a previous conversation, he remembered that I like mamoons.
Oh.
I like mamoons a lot, which is a great place to get a shawaffle or a shawarma or a falafel.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The shawaffle is the shawarma and the falafel put together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm about to say, can you please explain?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's delicious.
Yes. It sounds delicious.
It's so good. So, and, it's on the cheaps, and I love it. Mm-hmm. So he wouldn't tell me where we were going, but as we were walking, I put it together, and I got real excited. I was like, yeah! So we were passing the Grizzly Pear on McDougal, and there's this guy barking outside, trying to get people to come into a show.
Yeah.
So he said, yeah, come on in for a free comedy show, guys. Mm-hmm. I was like, we're going to get food. He said, oh, you can bring the food in. Mm-hmm. I said, oh. I said, well, if we come back, I'm getting on stage. My date, this was rant. I was messing with the dude. I wasn't serious.
Yeah.
But my date looked at the guy and said, "No, she's not. She's not funny."
Well,
And
you just shot your foot off.
Baby!
My man is why would it's your first date, bro.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I shut up in front of your grandmother and your coworkers. You can't give me this 30 seconds.
You
with
don't
this
even
stranger.
know her enough to say she's not funny, B.
Thank you.
Who says that?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
R.I.P. his career.
Yo,
R.I.P. his career.
The whole anger, that whole ass anger just planted a seed, grew, had little baby angers, and I running around colonizing my body because I just got so upset.
When's your birthday again?
December 18th.
So that makes you
Sagittarius.
Never tell a Sagittarius he or she can't do anything.
Oh.
And just a little reference on that, Nicki Minaj, Jay-Z. Just a little reference.
Brad Pitt, Einstein.
Yeah, be very careful with people who are around that sign. Just
Yeah.
FYI. They're highly competitive.
He started something.
Yeah.
He started.
Sure did. That's a
started
bad move, B. I learned this old school. One of my closest friends, and I will remain him nameless, but two of my closest friends, ultra competitive. If you tell them they can't drink a whole cake, they will try to drink the whole cake. Just because you told them they couldn't do something.
Yeah.
And I'm staring at them like, bro, it's not that serious. You do not have to prove it. But see, to them, it's like, oh my God, World War III.
But it
World War
is.
III. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that? Okay. Anyway, we're going to go subject again. Continue, please.
Yeah, because
anger. So you jump on stage.
No.
Okay.
I wish. We went to go. I said, you don't know my life. You don't know how funny I am or not. I said, no. I said, we are going to go get food and we will be back. Date changed. I don't know what plan 4 was, but date has changed. About fucking face with the mamoons, buddy. So we would go get mamoons and come back. And I'm trying to be a good audience member.
Yeah.
But the crowd work that they were doing with me, my responses were funnier than their punchlines.
So you did the prom thing.
Yo, you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
We're taking it all the way back.
Yeah.
I remember everything.
Yeah.
Did the prom thing.
Kind of, maybe, but not. No, because I wasn't heckling.
Okay. So sad. You can see her face right now. It's like she's trying to calculate the lie. Like,
To what degree is that true? I wasn't heckling though because they were asking me questions.
Okay.
So I was actually. They were asking me questions.
Yeah.
But I wasn't giving them like the answer that was.
What they wanted to hear.
Yeah.
You being.
Or my answer was funnier than. I'm also very angry.
Please do not incorporate her into the angry black woman stereotype.
But it's. I was just upset with my date, and it was unresolved in my emotions. But anyway, the host was laughing at my responses more than he was the comedian.
So I gotta give this date of yours kind of credit at this point.
Yeah.
As much as I hate to admit it, he's a dick.
He's a nice guy. He just wasn't smart in that moment.
How did Obama say about Kanye? Jackass. So
Yeah, so he started something because then at the end of the show he looked at me. He's like, "You are funny," and I was like, "I already know that."
Turn your mic off. Don't ever turn that shit back on.
So yeah, he started a monster.
All right.
So I didn't know exactly how I wanted to pursue comedy, but I knew I wanted it to be in some element of showing people how fucking funny I was because this asshole said I wasn't funny.
Did you start like doing homework on female comedians, male comedians? How did you start?
Well, I'd always been watching female comedians, especially like the Tracy Ullman Show was one of my favorite things growing up. Okay. I remember seeing the first episode of The Simpsons.
Nice.
At the end of the Tracy Ullman Show.
Let me ask you this now.
I just aged myself.
Yeah, you sure did. But yeah, I was trying to let you ride on that one.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I watched the Wonder Years.
Don't do the math.
I watched the Wonder Years as a child.
I'll find you.
Let me ask you this though. Did you also take from white comedians, black comedians, Spanish comedians? Did the ethnicity play a part in your idea of watching? You just kind of watch it all kind of mixed together.
Well, I mean, I think when we were growing up, what was on your TV was going to be on your TV, right?
Right.
So there wasn't, a YouTube.
No, I had a Different World Cosby Show. I had that Wonder Years shit like that.
Yeah. So and I watched all of those shows. I also watched a lot of SNL. I also watched.
See, I didn't watch a lot of SNL. I got caught up in like that skit type of scene when In Living Color came to birth.
Oh yeah, I watch In Living Color too, but I watch a lot of SNL. I watch a lot of Carol Burnett show.
Okay.
I watch Kids in the Hall.
Kids in
I
the
loved
Hall.
Kids in the Hall.
Wow.
I loved Kids in the Hall. I watch a lot of Mr. Bean. So I was watching, and then I remember my ex-boyfriend used to play a lot of Russell Peters.
Okay.
And then, and then of course the Eddie Murphys and the Richard Pryors, and my parents would be listening to, to their records, like their own records and stuff. So I kind of have always been surrounded by comedy, but never with the intention of I'm going to listen to this person because of their skin color. Like to me, it was just, is this person funny?
Yes, yes.
Because
a lot of people I never was into Seinfeld. People are deadly into that stuff, and I'm like, I don't get it. But if you want to talk about Martin, I can talk about Martin all day long.
Yeah.
And that was weird for me because I'm just like, Growing Pains, all these little funny shows were good. But yeah, as far as comedians go, I really didn't get into comedians until I saw Martin. And I saw Martin, his first big special that was on HBO, and I got to see that. I knew I wasn't supposed to see it. And it was that kind of turned me on to watching comedians. And then I realized comedians are some of the smartest people on the planet. And because they're more observant than me, than most people. And I can't say you anymore, obviously, because you ingratiated yourself into that world. So it's you're going to be, you get into it. I was talking to my boy Billy. You know Billy. Do you know Billy? I don't know if you do or not.
Billy
the Billionaire. Bill the Billionaire?
Of course.
Okay. So
I used to go to his mom's dance school.
Right.
Shout out to Lorna at 5-Star. I remember when Billy was a little boy and his little sister Crystal.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I had him on my podcast, and he explained everything about the comedic world and how he had got really into the world, but also got fast-tracked into it, and how some of it didn't pan out right. If he had listened more, he probably would have done a little better. But he didn't listen, and then he kind of went back and realized some of it he needed to listen to. Now, you're getting into this world. You're fully ingrained into it. After that happens, when was the first time you said, all right, I'm kind of close to being all in on this? Now, give some people some context. When did the date?
So 2014 is when I went on that bad date.
Okay.
And then I came out to my family as a comedian in June. And then I ended up getting, my first time was on a show.
Okay.
I was talking to this bartender, and I was telling him I wanted to be a comedian. And he's like, well, I run a show. You can bark for some time. And I brought a few people, and I started on a show. So the mic world was foreign to me.
Did you picture everybody naked?
Huh? No. I just tried to picture it talking to my family.
Oh shit!
Because I used to put on little shows for my family.
Right.
Little magic shows and
performer from birth, huh?
Performers from birth, yeah. Yeah, I'd put on this little hat. It was ridiculous. But so I got and I'd done public speaking before, so I got I was trying to look at it like that,
right.
But the only caveat is you want people to laugh at the end, right?
Yeah, you got nobody to crack on now. It's on you. You become the subject at this point,
right? It's different when you're just being sarcastic, and it's oh well, they can just write off it. If it's not funny, they can just be like, oh, she's a bitch,
Yeah.
But no, you're up here saying I'm funny. Laugh at me, and then if no one laughs, and it's I'm not funny. Damn, that date was right.
What's the guy, Apollo, when he came with the horn? Get your ass off stage.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Jesus.
So yeah, I did the show, and I was I like this.
Okay.
And then I went to mics, and I did not like that. I did a mic in LA, and I was nervous about that. And it was only because, I don't know, it was it wasn't even a show in LA, it was a mic. But what felt really good about that is as I was leaving, people were we thought you were one of the best ones. And I was like, what?
Now, explain to everybody what a mic is.
Oh, a mic. Okay. A mic is where comedians go and group masturbate. No, I'm just It's not too far off from the truth. But
circle jerks?
Yeah. It's a circle jerk. No, it's where comedians go and practice their craft.
Okay.
So I host a really dope one, Wednesday Comedy Workout in Brooklyn.
Okay.
It's at Brooklyn House of Comedy. And shout out to Joanna Briley. Just have to do that very quickly because it is an amazing mic. And
nice.
Going to mics in the beginning, I was this is going to be the death of anything I want to do with comedy if I have to continue doing this. You know, this isn't working out. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
So I just try to make, you know, anything that I bring to WCW, I want it to be the antithesis of what I saw and was feeling and dealing with when I first started. So yeah, that was 2014 when I started. I did that mic in LA in 2015 in February, and then so I was doing this intermediary mics, and that's when I was like, all right, juggling corporate and going to mics was like, no.
What time you get out of the mic show? 5?
Like mics vary, so but it was like when I got out at 6:30 after dealing with the stupid, like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to then go and like be beat over the head with silence after my jokes. I want people to laugh, damn it. So I got very hesitant. Eliza Powell.
Shout out to Eliza.
Shout out to Eliza. Love her forever, my sister.
Eliza.
She sends me an email and she's like, I know you're probably past this, which was not the case. She was like, but there's a comedy class at Comic Strip.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. So I signed up for that class. And I guess I signed up for it at the end of 2015. And then, because I think it was 2016 when I took it. And I was still working at my corporate job. I went on vacation, and I was in Greece.
How was that?
Amazing.
Did you at that Greece, like, kind of, I mean, you're out there thinking, obviously. You're in a thinking space when you go to Greece. Am I correct?
I was thinking and doing it for the gram. Shit. I never posted any of the
God, I
pictures
hate
out.
social media. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is I took a bunch of pictures that I think are amazing, but I posted like 3.
That's how it goes.
I posted like 3.
I
Because I actually am really bad at, like I'll take pictures of everything else, but I'm very bad at being like, okay, here, let's take this picture, because I'm usually like jumping off a boat or in the water or, you know, enjoying life rather than taking a
I
picture.
gotta say, all the time I've known you on social media, it's always been like, I'm not just gonna post this selfie. I'm gonna be doing something in every pic. Damn it! And I'd be looking at it, I'm like, oh, there goes Dara doing something weird. Okay,
Yeah.
scroll. but that's you. I know that's you. So that's why I'm like, you never do anything. I could always say you never do anything that's normal.
Thank you.
I say that in the most complimentary way.
I take it in the most complimentary way.
And I always like that about you. Like, you're not the atypical girl who's just taking 1,000 pics that are just the same selfie but a different angle.
Yeah, no.
That
I figured you guys
drives
already
me
know what I
into
look
the-
like.
Yeah, about 150 times.
Yeah, you guys have yearbooks and shit, you know?
Yeah.
You
I don't
guys know what
know.
I look like.
I don't understand why we need 150 different angles, but anyway,
Yeah,
I digress.
no worries.
So
Greece is amazing, and I'm really having like an incredible time out there.
Yeah.
And then I get a text message saying, "We need to speak to you before you come back to the office." And I was like, Now, there had been like talks in the office before I left of like major shifts and happening, but Dara was like, I'm going on vacation and don't give a shit. Okay. What happens here next week? Okay. Now, I didn't know that meant that they were going to text me and, you know,
hit you with the heavy.
hit me with the, well, we don't need you to come back, like, ever.
Stay the hell out of this office. Not with this shit.
Never come back. But it was a huge layoff in the company, so it wasn't just me. And they got rid of a division. I only worked with that division. And it ended up being like this huge blessing in disguise. I mean, I'm standing on this pier in Mykonos, and I'm looking at this incredible view. And I'm like, if this is supposed to be a very sad moment, this is one of the best sad moments of my entire existence.
So you saw the white buildings and the blue water.
Oh, yeah. Well, this was it.
Everybody has that picture, but they go to Greece. But that's one I haven't been. That's one of my bucket list places to go just to see. I just want that picture.
Yeah.
Because that is one of the most amazing things you'll see in life.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And this was actually at night when it happened. It was daytime here, but So I'm looking at like all these lights along this pier, this water. I knew that there was a Jameson at the bar. I knew I had this lamb ragu coming. You know what I mean? Like life was good.
Jameson.
You know, life was good.
Yes.
So I was like, how much are you paying me? And when can I come pick up my stuff? They were like, you can come pick up your stuff on Monday. I picked my stuff up that Monday. And that's when I started my comedy class. And as I was walking a comic strip, and shout out to DF Sweedler, who's my comedy coach up there, I just had this feeling of like, this is it. Like listen to the universe. Like you are carrying literally your old life to a new life right now. And whatever you're going to have to do to work that out, figure that out. But like, I knew it wasn't about going home and updating my resume and sending it to some other HR company.
Yeah. Welcome to the world, because I did that for many years.
Oh, no. Because I could not have beach cover-ups be my legacy. Okay.
I don't know if that's going to be the title of this podcast, but I will find a way to include it somehow. Okay. So you're in there, you're grinding at this thing. Did you begin to realize it was a community?
Yeah, but I believe that everything is community. I believe that you create your world.
Right.
So I think it's really important to like.
I know Shatara.
Yes.
I know her for years doing what she's doing, and Billy. I met Billy, and I was working with Billy for a while, so I understood the grind of it.
Yeah.
Did you start meeting people that you see now are doing things, or what did you kind of like? Did you kind of meet? What kind of people did you kind of meet at first? Did you meet? Was it a cold meeting, or was it a very warm and greeting kind of way?
So I met some people when I was like before I took the class, and they were really nice. But they were like, people coming in and out of comedy. They were really, really like engaging, and they were like they were so supportive. But I wasn't taking myself seriously then, and I think as soon as I started taking myself seriously, that's when other comedians started taking me seriously. Yeah. And I think that's what that pivotal point was, taking that class in 2016.
I think it's really crazy. I think just like in the photography business that I started, Keenan, shout out to my baby.
Shout out to Keenan.
I knew that him and any other community who were already in the photography business wouldn't take me seriously had I not stepped up and just really took the time out to really work on the craft of it.
Yeah.
And was it the same thing in the comedic world for you?
Shatara and I actually just had this conversation on Sunday.
Okay.
Where, I remember going to a show. She had a show at like Jordan's Lounge, and it was in Jersey City. And I kept on saying, I want to go see her show. I want to go see her show. And I was like, she's in Jersey City. I might as well go see her show.
Right.
And I had a thought about like what it is I wanted to do, but I didn't want to have the conversation of like, hey, I want to be a comedian. Put me on your, you know what I mean? And she was talking about how this, a girl had, kind of done that. And it was important for me to show that I was doing.
But you were serious about it.
Yeah, that I was doing the steps. Because there's Trev, there's Billy, there's Shatara. I would see their shows all the time.
I didn't even shout out Trev, man. Yeah. I grew up with him, literally down the block from my house.
Yeah, Trev and Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
Yeah, shout out to Lisa. Word.
Lisa just had a birthday.
Jeez. Don't remind me.
So it's like I knew people who were doing it. It would have been easy to make a phone call, but what did I have to show for it? You know what I mean? Right. So it's like I had to take myself seriously and take the steps in order to say, okay, yes, no, I've done this show, I'm doing this. And then, and Shatara has booked me on 2 shows so far, after I did the work, after she saw my face on flyers and, and it wasn't, and we never even like had the conversation like, hey, put me on, because she saw that I was doing the work.
Right. Right. Same thing with many of the photographers who I've gotten to talk to and speak with. They saw how hard I worked to try to get there. Like, I always worked on whatever little thing I could, whether it was shooting 3 or 4 times a day or just trying to figure out the best angles, just being creative. Yeah. Like you said, and then she saw you grinding, putting out the work. And I know it wasn't easy to put yourself out there to do it. Did you get a lot of pushback from the fam?
No, actually. I was so nervous about that. Mom's gone. I wonder what she would think. But I think she would like it. I think
your mom would be at every damn show.
Yeah, probably.
Your dad would be like,
My dad's been to a few shows, except he's always... There's a few jokes where I'm like, what does my father's face look like? Someone tell me, because I can't look at him right now.
Staring at you like...
Yeah.
think this is funny, young lady? Like,
yeah. But he's totally supportive. That was the craziest part. Like, totally supportive. Never, like, even with that material, he's never like, you need to change that. None of that. None of that. So it really is, it's amazing and surprising to have my family support.
Her lovely cats, they are snickering.
Yeah,
have you heard
if
that?
you hear Fizzy Champagne and Rocky Balboa, sorry, they want that stage time
These
too.
are her guardians.
Yes.
These are the guardians of the castle.
They're like, she's been in there too long. What's happening?
Yes.
What was I talking about?
You were talking about your dad and his acceptance of you.
Family. Yes. Okay. So shortly after that, that first date.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm going to pursue comedy. I got to tell my family.
Right.
So we were going out to Kentucky. My grandfather lived in Kentucky with his girlfriend. And we would go out there ever so often. And
Kentucky.
Hebron, Kentucky.
Okay, keep going.
Near Covington, Kentucky.
I have no words.
Across the river from not Cleveland.
The beautiful blue state.
Cincinnati. That.
Beautiful blue state.
Yeah, I was really nervous about it too the first time. I was really nervous about it. Beautiful people.
This is not the kind of climate I want.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I don't mean to say it like that, but it's just not the kind of climate I'm going to be in.
This Kentucky story is a whole other podcast in itself. But yeah, so I'll breeze through it.
Yes.
So we wanted to make sure that we got out there to celebrate my grandfather's birthday.
Yes.
So we're out there. We pushed the trip up to make sure that we could get there. And I don't know, it's kind of like the universe again, where there were so many moving parts, and we were trying to we're getting in the car on Sunday. Okay. Yeah, it was like we were going to do it in August, but we were like, nope, Sunday, we're going to leave. Okay, there it is. Fine. Which was great that I wasn't at work, because then I didn't have to call out to anybody. You know what I mean? Look at God. So
that's the first time you probably been at that point where you weren't beholden.
Yeah. Oh no, I wasn't beholden.
Yes.
I walked in there with a smile and packed my shit. Okay. It's like,
that's real.
See you later.
That's real.
I hung out with the cafeteria people the most, because that's who I really loved. I loved them so much.
Yes. Black women in corporate America.
Yeah, loving the cafeteria.
Loving the cafeteria.
Because they kept me fed and loved. And they always put a smile on my face.
Feed them and everyone's happy.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
That's your advice.
Yeah.
It works for women too.
Okay, so works in both cases.
Exactly. So I'm sitting around the dinner table with my family. And I'm like, I have to tell everyone I want to pursue stand-up comedy. And they're like, silence at the table. Oh, beat. You should look up Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah didn't have the Daily Show and all of that. And they were like, there's a South African comedian. Da, 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 da. Started throwing out all these other people. And I was like, what? Like, super supportive about it. And I'm sure in the back of their brains are like, how's she going to make money? But
believe me, I really understand that a lot.
Oh, yeah. It's a real conversation.
Yes,
but,
it is.
But I'm glad in that moment there was nothing but support.
Yeah.
And everyone left the table, and it was just me and my grandfather. And he said, so you're really going to do this good? Oh, I wish I had a better grandpa impersonation. Right? He's like, you're really going to do this kid? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. He was like, all right, look, comedians, the great comedians, they do two things. They make people think, and they make people laugh.
Chris Rock.
Huh?
Chris Rock.
Did Chris Rock say that?
Nope. Chris Rock is the epitome of that.
Because I'm like, Grandpa, did you quote Chris Rock? Damn it!
He did not.
Grandpa.
I listened to Brilliant Idiots podcast.
Yeah.
With Charlamagne and Andrew Schultz.
Yeah.
And Andrew Schultz is a comedian. And he had Neil Brenner on.
Yeah.
And Neil Brenner, and they always talk about exactly what you just said.
Yeah. It was too perfect. It was too. It was like, as long as you can do those things, you'll be great. And he's like, now go kick ass and be great. And he died a week later.
Oh my God.
And I was like, fuck, now I really got to be a stand-up comedian.
It's all in the written, man.
Grandpa's dropping these gems, and then he's dying. I can't just let the advice die too.
You lost your mom.
Yeah.
You lost your grandma. And they both kind of like left you something to push you towards your legacy at this point.
Bunch of gifts, yeah.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people get that.
Yeah.
So you got blessed to actually have that. I know people who never met their grandparents.
Really?
I was blessed to I know my great-grands, but I know people who didn't even know their grandparents, and it blows my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't know your history then.
Yeah, because there's one grandfather that I never met. He died when my mom was 9. Her father passed, and he's a mystery to me. So I don't know what that would be like to not know.
Right. Would you ever do that
whole level?
Would you ever do 23andMe?
My father gave me Ancestry.com for a birthday or Christmas, which is like the same thing because I'm a week away from Christmas. Baby Jesus takes all my shine.
Did you take it?
I did. I gave them my DNA. There's a little Dara running around in New Mexico somewhere. I'm just kidding.
They cloned you?
I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I did it, and because it was free, and my dad had already done it, and he's really about this family tree, which is great. But
I can see you using this in a bit. That's what I'm looking at. Like,
yeah. Well, I did. And there's like this mild bit that I throw in sometimes. If I'm hosting and someone brings up one of those things where it's like, I just got tired of telling people I was from slave ship in Jersey.
Oh man. Why? Why?
So I figured, why not?
Why do we? Slavery was not a choice. Okay.
I was talking about that too the other day. I was like, well, my people ran, so we ran, so we made a choice.
I don't know if this actually helps conversation any more than it just did. Okay, we're gonna move forward. Let's just move forward. We're off this fuck everything, damn it.
But I was thinking about that. You know how hard that is to run? When's the last time you walked to South Carolina? You know what I mean? Like,
no, I would never run to South Carolina.
Hard.
Yeah.
And then you have to live the rest of your life trying to figure out if you're safe. Like, it's not like it's kind of like running out of the rat race. You know what I mean?
Yes. You're running from something that can harm you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
So it's like, Kanye, I'm not sure your point was, he's like, I got free thought. I got free thought. Look at this, guys. I got free thought. It's like a little boy with his dick. He's like, look at this. Look at this. Free thought.
Poor Charlamagne. I mean, not poor Charlamagne because they didn't interview him, but poor Kanye. The only reason why I say poor Kanye is he's not a victim. He's doing this under his own choice, understandably. But in the climate in which you were coming out with this, bro, nobody's ready for what you're trying to say at this point.
Yeah, I think there's too many other things going on for him to be trying to throw out this thought that is so far left that we're not ready for.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And at the time when this comes out, you know, we're speaking a little further in the future, his music will be out.
Yeah.
Who knows what people will be talking about at that time.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, you know, I always say this, his first album kind of saved my life because I was a kid who was trying to find his identity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was a young guy who was surrounded by guys who were still trying to find their identity. And then Kanye comes out with a song about a kid who dropped out of college who was just trying to find his way.
Yeah.
And that was the only music I could relate to. I couldn't relate to the Lox, We Are the Streets, bang, bang, shoot 'em up shit all the time because I don't come from that.
They have a smoothie shop now.
I know.
That's amazing.
Yes, it is. And I had to re-register what I was going to do.
Yeah.
So I kind of went into the other lane and said, you know what? I don't have to be a banger. I'm not that guy. I'm over here. I'm going to go get a job or do something with my life. So I say all I have to say is old Kanye helped put my life in perspective and kept me out of a very narrow stream that I was about to go down. It was going to be bad for me. And seeing him now and the way that he's acting now shows a man who lost his mother and lost his way and still hasn't found his way back.
Yeah.
And it's people don't understand too. Unless you've lost a parent, you you just don't get it.
Yeah.
Until you have. Because there's a lot of things that just have to get unpacked. You will have to go to therapy. I've never been. I probably have to go eventually in life. But
therapy's a good time.
It's just with him, and I watched the Charlamagne interview, and it was just a lot.
I haven't seen that interview.
Wait until you watch it. You're going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
And I was listening to Joe Budden's podcast on the way over here, the episode that was part of that time, at that time. And they were just like, yo, all he ever does is they point out great black people, and all he does is point out great white people that he wants to be. And it was just a lot to unpack. But I'm not going to get too far off subject here.
Yeah, no.
Not much.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, and I'm saying all these to say is that I'm using the Kanye thing I think I lost the subject. I think I lost it right there.
Kanye got deep.
Yeah, I did. Okay, let's move on. Fuck this.
No, the truth.
The truth.
Is that what we're talking about?
We were talking about the truth.
Okay.
We're talking about the truth.
Joe Biden.
Well, Jordan, the Joe Button thing, I didn't want to go too far. We're going too far into the rap hole, so we're going to leave the Joe Button thing alone. Let's just stick with here before we lose everybody on this.
Okay.
So we probably already lost you guys.
Come back.
Come back.
Sorry.
We get into a real deep moment.
That's what happens when Kanye comes up.
Okay. Anyway, we were talking about 23andMe. Your dad gave you that present, and people were being supportive. And they were supportive of it. And
can I say one more thing about the 23andMe?
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, we're done.
Are you gonna,
No more.
One more thing about the 23andMe. What was cool was that when I went to South Africa.
Yeah.
And I was 10%, 79% African, obviously.
Right.
I was surprised that it was that low. I was like, shouldn't it be more? But people were fucking.
You do know.
And things happened.
People were having sex across the world.
Across the world for a long time.
It came about from other things.
Yeah.
They might have came from other things. Jeez.
I was taking that slave ship in Jersey way too far. I was like, wait, where did this part come from? Who are they?
Checking their skin tone, like, wait a minute here.
Who are they?
Wait a minute.
But 10% of that was Bantu. So when I was in South Africa, people were like, are you from here? And I was like, 10% of me is. Like, I was so excited.
People, Africans looking at like,
yeah.
Weird ass fucking American.
Weird ass American. And then this other guy was like yelling at me. He's like, and this was right after the election.
Oh, Trump?
Mm-hmm. And he was like, you guys shouldn't even be there. What are you doing there? Like seriously coming for me.
Tell you come home.
And I was like, well, someone helped us on the boat. And then he got.
Oh shit. That's a whole other.
His face dropped and started laughing. He couldn't stop laughing.
Man,
I'm glad he took it well.
That opens up a whole nother door to a whole other conversation that people don't want to have right now.
I know. I don't want to Kanye myself in this podcast. It was a nice moment between me and this man who was yelling at me for not coming back. And I'm like, I'm standing on the continent of Africa right now, sir. So I'm back. Like, just can we have a nice conversation? I'm back.
Okay. I'm from Sit, damn it. I'm black, damn it.
I paid a lot of money to come here, and I don't want to talk about how I should have been here the whole time.
Yeah, there seems to be a theme of angry black women moments that you seem to be having a lot of.
Like, I am just passionate about my shit, okay? I'm not angry. I'm just passionate about my shit.
Chalking it up to passion.
This man yelled at me for not being in Africa.
I have one question. How do you feel about the Me Too? And how do you feel as a woman? You've come from the corporate world and you decidedly have been in this world and coming now to here. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think the Me Too movement highlights a bunch of things that have been going on for a long time. Right. And it highlights behaviors that have been swept under the rug and that we have all acted like don't, right? So I know that people all the time are going to be like, how many of these women are lying? Like, these women are lying. Okay, if we sat down and statistically wrote out how many of the women are lying, is it going to make you feel better to be looking at those numbers? Or is that just a distraction from the behavior that we are deeming to be
right? If you got
100
women claiming this, but even if 30 of them did, it still doesn't make anything different. Even if it was one and it was 100, it doesn't matter. It's still one.
It's still behavior that has been viciously out there.
Yeah.
And you can see that in the numbers and how many women have been sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, and it's always a spectrum. When people try to, if it's not like beat in the face rape, people try to act like it's not a big deal, you know.
But he was just having fun. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think that it's good that people are talking about these things. I think it's a good thing when we're looking at problems and seeing what we can do about them rather than not looking at a problem at all. You can't solve a problem that you're not looking at.
You can't solve a problem that you that you congratulate people for.
Yeah.
You can't, and you didn't base it. It's a culture that exists that I didn't even realize being all the way back in high school. Some of the shit that was going on even when I was in high school all the way up until now was shit.
Yeah.
Bad. And I didn't, there was whole songs made called Trizzy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think some of my boys had.
I have no doubtably been there when that was about to happen and been like, I'm good. I'm out. Not looking down on anybody who ever did the do or didn't do the do. Some people into that shit.
Yeah.
But some people, I just was never into that shit. And then I always was like, yo, be like, she's probably mad damaged to let this happen, let this go down.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's just crazy. I only ask you this because as a woman who's been through these worlds that you've gone through, have you ever faced that on a personal level, or you just always said to yourself, I'm done. I've always had a way of keeping that shielded away from myself.
No, absolutely. And I mean, even in high school, you know, I had my own situation with someone we both know.
Yeah.
And, you know, that...
I forgot all about that.
I think I'm still dealing with shit from that. You know what I mean? And that's, you know, mechanisms and guards that I put up from that. Only because that person was so close, and I never saw that coming.
Right,
you know?
right.
And then, I remember when there was like a VHS tape of someone. I can't remember. Not that I would say their name.
Definitely not.
I would never. But I don't even remember. So if that person happens to be listening, to know that.
But these days, it's world star life.
It's right. So to have it be so normalized now, but it took growing up and like really even having this Me Too moment to look at things and be like, no, but that's not it.
Exactly.
You know? And I think that it's a collective. As a collective, we all need to be looking at things that we have been like, oh, that's okay. That's not okay. That's okay. That's not okay.
The shit that I see now with people with cell phones and Snapchat, and Snapchat is done. Snapchat is...
I've never been on the Snappity chat.
I have, and I stopped. And then all of a sudden now Instagram has Snapchat. The Insta stories. And I enjoy them because they're able to get stuff out quickly.
Yeah.
But I just think there's a lot of people out here who want Insta fame.
Yeah.
They want Insta fame. And I think that contributes to the Me Too thing because guys will do things just to be down with their boys and jump in there. And this girl, she don't want to be ostracized as not being down. Mm-hmm. And then she'll jump on the camera and do things or be there with them. And I think it's sad.
Yeah, I mean, fame has always been there, right?
Yeah.
So I think what's happening is there's that breaking down of that power structure of needing to do that to...
Be down.
Yeah. Yeah. Because now men aren't using that necessarily as a leverage out of fear. Not saying it's a good thing, but it is a good thing. You know what I mean? I don't want men to be, because some guys are like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with my arms. It's like, be a human being, okay? That's it.
Yeah, let it roll at this point. Like,
be cool, a human being.
And just stop the bullshit, yo. Nobody's perfect. I have most definitely in my lifetime probably got a miscommunication and felt bad, like, yo, I think she wasn't feeling me. I might have pushed up a little too hard and been like, okay, cool. Or it could be, you could be in the crib with two people and you guys enjoy like the Aziz situation and you're thinking it's all good. She's not.
Yeah.
And you're just like, you don't know. You don't know. You just got to be careful. And I've always said, you know what? I've made my fair share of mistakes probably, but I had to own them. And I think a lot of people are just not owning shit.
I think, and I absolutely agree. I think that there needs to be an ownership of one's own personal behavior. I remember there was this comic who was at who was performing at a show, and she has an amazing body. I'm not a lesbian, but she has an amazing body. It was so great. And after she got off stage, I said some like the craziest thing to her, where I was just like, something like, "You have one of the most amazing asses I've ever seen," or something like that. But like, I felt so grimy and perverse. I had to go up and apologize. Right. You're not here to hear that.
Yeah, you're not here to be subjected to that.
Yeah, and I am sorry that I said that to you. And I'm sorry if I made you feel any kind of way. It wasn't the intention. It was a stupid comment. It came out. It took something to say that. Yeah. And I don't think that people are looking at themselves. You know what I mean? They're just like, I'm just saying, she didn't say no. She said no 20 minutes ago. That means them titties is mine. It's 35 minutes later. You know, it's like, no, that's not how.
It's just when if it's not an all and out, I'm hopping on the pole thing, bruh.
Yeah.
Roll over.
Either have her put it in. Yeah. Or have a conversation. And I realize that people what I've realized with this Me Too thing is that people love sex, but no one likes talking about sex. No one likes having communication about their sex.
How did this affect your comedic work at this point?
It didn't really. I just have to hear guys do more Me Too jokes.
It hasn't affected your jokes yet. Like, you can't say you gotta be more PC.
I never intended to fuck my way to the top.
So basically, which is what I'm going to get to, is like, I've been seeing a lot of comics, they've had to like dial back what they had to say.
No, I mean, no, I've dialed nothing back.
Still, I got you.
Yeah, I've dialed nothing back. I do sometimes. Well, if I'll say something inappropriate, then I'll be like, "Fuck," you know.
I think that would be normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a little odd if you just rolled with it. Was like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, where I'm like making sure everyone's okay, you know? Yeah. So I probably have even gotten more. I have a joke about it. I have a bit about that where I'm like, trying to be on my best lady behavior.
I'm still a lady.
But because I'm a lady, I can touch his dick. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, that's, and I like highlighting that as a joke because that's also an unbalanced way of thinking.
I've listened to plenty of podcasts and plenty of comedians have package jokes all day long.
What's package jokes?
About the dude's package.
Oh.
Jokes about the dude's package and like jokes about, oh yeah, I just came over and grabbed his balls.
Oh, yeah.
Shit like that.
I don't do that.
Obviously, you don't do that.
But that exists.
That exists. So
that exists. Like, and there's this there's this double standard that because, it's a woman that we can just like go up and do that. But how? That doesn't, that's not.
Then you giving Trump justification.
Exactly.
I hate to say that.
And then another part of me is like, yeah, ride that wave. Sexually objectify these men. I'm shaking butts. I'm shaking asses. And then men don't like that.
You know who's very much on, who I watch is very outspoken and about all kinds of different things, is Amanda Seales.
Yeah.
She is off the chain some days. I love her comedic work because she's very honest and very upfront about stuff. One person I can say she's definitely out there. All right. So we have touched on a whole bunch of things today.
Yeah, we have.
I appreciate you coming on my show. I really appreciate you. There's a few things that you want to tell anyone who wants to get into this business, who is in kind of the place that you've been in. What would you say to them? What kind of advice would you give to them?
Let's see. Oh, the advice. I'd say if you're thinking about taking a leap, take it.
All right.
Create a support around it. If you can create a parachute, great. If you can create 2 parachutes, a safety.
Yes.
Have that.
Be on a tub.
Yeah, but believe in what it is that you're doing.
Okay.
Because not everyone will, and sometimes that can be like a deterrent. Yes. You know. But know that what you're doing is know that you're on the right path. Gotcha. If you have that nagging feeling of like, no, I really want to do this, don't like exhaust that flame. Yeah. You know, yeah. Don't be the person to do it. You know, because everyone else will be throwing water on that pile. So you gotta have your own gasoline. Yeah. I'll be like, no, I can do it.
Keep flammable stuff around.
Yeah, exactly. Ignite your own flame, and just be confident. I'm so thankful for my corporate America experience, right? Only because I treat everything like that, and even like the retail experience. My first boss, when I got out of college, said, "Everything that you're learning right now is a transferable skill," and I've looked at that.
That's a hell of a line.
Yeah, I've looked at that across the board with everything that I do. So. Right. I don't care if I'm volunteering someplace, if I am just setting up chairs, if I am greeting people in the front of a store, if I'm ringing someone up at the dollar store. I take a certain set of skills that I put in my bag, and then I'm able to pull from them and apply them to other things.
Sweet. That's how you're supposed to do it, though. Yeah. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Cherry pick what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pick now.
Take it all and then pick it when you need it.
That too. Very true. Well, where can they find you if they were looking for you and they wanted to find you online and everything else?
Okay, so Dara Jemmott, DaraJemmott on Facebook, and Chocolate Gem with a J. Chocolate JEM on Instagram.
Yeah, one of my moments right there. Like, I lost here.
I was like, how do I make this make sense for the people? I also have a few shows coming up. Can I say?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Are they after a certain point in June? No.
So I'm gonna have a monthly.
There you go. Okay, there you go.
I'm gonna have a monthly show at Brooklyn House of Comedy.
Okay.
On Sundays,
All right.
nights. It's gonna be the last Sundays, and also there's a Mike Wednesday comedy workout that's also at Brooklyn House of Comedy. So those are my constants.
Nice. People go support.
Yeah,
Go support, man. Get your behind.
I post my shows all the time, so
because if you're in the New York area, definitely go support, man. New York, New Jersey area, go support, man.
yeah.
Yes, man.
I'd love to see some familiar faces in the audience.
That would be awesome.
I've been making strangers laugh. That's good.
Strangers are better. Sometimes strangers are more supportive than familiar faces.
Sometimes.
I really hate to say that.
But thank you very much for having me on your show. This has been really fun.
Thank you for coming on and being very open and not being a person who's scared to speak. I appreciate that.
No, that would make me very bad at my job.
Yes. Everybody, this is Dara. All right. How can I put this, man? Like I said, she's just who she is. She's great, man. And you guys, if you listen to this whole podcast and believe me, you know she's great. All right. So listen, man, this has been another episode of Brian Johnson Show. I appreciate everybody who's been listening. Thank you. We're well over 500 listens at this point, downloads. We're probably going to be at 1,000 in a few months. I just want to say thank you guys. I want to say I appreciate you guys. And I want to say come back next week because we got more guests.